Hello, BookTube. I've got a little mail for you today. Try to keep the mail train running on an absolutely gorgeous, unseasonably warm Thursday here in the middle of September. Looks like it's going to be unseasonably warm for the next week. And I am finally at the end of an epic whirlwind tour of sociability. I've been Little Miss Popularity all week, and that's now over. I'm sure that after a little while it's going to settle in that it's over, and I'm going to be miserable about that. But I thought we'd look at the mail. We've got 3 hefty packages here. So could be that there are more than 3 books, and it could be that there are some finished copies, which would be nice. Finished copies would be very nice. Oh yeah, see, this first one is 2 copies. Finished copies for October, I am sincerely hoping. This one doesn't have a sheet in it, but I think we've seen this before. This is by Jeff Jarvis, and it is The Web We Weave: Why We Must Reclaim the Internet from Moguls, Misanthropes, and Moral Panic. And this is the finished copy with blurbs, including one from Leo Laporte, which is always lots of fun. He knows what he's talking about. So let's just read the dust jacket here. The internet stands accused of dividing us, spying on us, making us stupid, and addicting our children. In response, the press and panicked politicians seek greater regulation and control that could ruin the web before we are finished building it. So that's the opening salvo here. And I'm sure that it's underlined by the hypocrisy of parenting in America anyway, where parents are 10 times more concerned about screen time than they are about the fact that their children know how to expertly vape by the time they're in the 10th grade. And by the time they're ready to graduate from high school, they're well and truly addicted and could not stop without going into withdrawal symptoms that would kill them. That's a blind eye to that. Instead, it's screen time. Let's make sure you're not downloading the TikTok. Jeff Jarvis, the author of this book, is convinced we can have a saner conversation about the internet. Examining the web's past, present, and future, he shows that many of the problems the media lays at the internet's door are the result of our own failings. The internet did not make us hate. We brought our bias, bigotry, and prejudice with us online. That's why even well-intentioned regulation will fail to fix hate speech and misinformation and may instead imperil the freedom of speech the internet affords to us all. Once we understand the internet for what it is, a human network, we can reclaim it from the nerds, pundits, and polls who are in charge now and turn our attention where it belongs, fostering community, conversation, and creativity online. Okay, and this is a finished copy, so we can figure out who the author is. Jeff Jarvis is a longtime journalist and leading expert on the internet. Okay. So I don't have a date for this. I'm assuming that it's September. But there's another book in this package here that's much bigger. Oh, great. Oh, fantastic. Okay. This is the finished copy. These might both be October. This is the finished copy of Jeffrey Warro's book, Vietnam, A Military History. Big, thick thing from the folks at Basic Books. Great. Fantastic. So this is a finished copy, so we'll be able to see. This has lots and lots of inset photos rather than a separate island in the middle. I always prefer that myself. And this is going to be a $40 hardcover with blurbs from H.W. Brands, Max Boot, Sean McMeekin, Rita Mitter, and General Anthony Zinni. So let's just briefly read the dust jacket here, like we were in a bookstore together. The Vietnam War cast a shadow over the American psyche from the moment it began. In its time, it sparked budget deficits, campus protests, and an erosion of U.S. influence around the world. Long after the last helicopter evacuated Saigon, Americans have continued to battle over whether it was ever a winnable war. Based on thousands of pages of military, diplomatic, and intelligence documents, this book offers a definitive account of a war of choice that was doomed from its inception. In devastating detail, the author narrates campaigns where U.S. troops struggled even to find the enemy in the South Vietnamese wilderness, let alone kill sufficient numbers to turn the tide in their favor. Yet the war dragged on, prolonged by presidents and military leaders who feared the political consequences of accepting defeat. Well, I haven't read a big, fat book on a sweeping narrative history of the Vietnam War in a few years, so I'm glad to have it. Great. And I think those might both be October releases, which would also be great. So I need more of those. All right, let's see what the next one is. It's a paperback. Oh. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Book publicists are my favorite people in the world. Okay. All right. This is going to be of interest to a lot of you as well. Because this was probably just a touch too pricey when it came out as a hardcover. So this is a paperback. This comes out... Oh, this is out already. This came out on the 3rd. Lovely thing. Oh, this is lovely. This is the paperback of the new Schocken edition of the Diaries of Franz Kafka. Now in a just the classic kind of trade paperback that lays open on a flat table. Just wonderful. This is translated by Ross Benjamin. And let's see, it dates from 1909 to 1923 and contains a broad array of writing, including accounts of daily events, assorted reflections and observations, literary sketches, drafts of letters, records of dreams, and unrevised texts of stories. This volume makes available for the first time in English a comprehensive reconstruction of Kafka's handwritten diary entries and provides substantial new content, restoring all the material omitted from the previous publications, notably names of people and undisguised details about them, a number of literary writings, and passages of a sexual nature, some of them with homoerotic overtones. Great. Fantastic. Okay. I was impatiently waiting. This book was the subject of a little booktube drama on this channel. These little eddies of drama that I create on my own without any reason, then I dispel them on my own without any reason. I don't know how many of you will remember this. When this was out, when it was relatively new in hardcover, I went through a whole big melodrama on this channel about how, well, it's a little bit too late for me to request the hardcover from Schocken. So instead, I will try to figure out what the simple folk do. I will ask all of you, when you want a new book, where do you go to get the best price, the best service, the best delivery? Where do you go? Where do the ordinary people go? And I thought to myself, well, you'll do it. Once you get a consensus, you'll go and do that, because here's a book that is new, but it's not a new release, and I want a copy. So it's about time I stopped acting like a pampered little princess and just go out and get it. And I will get advice from my imaginary booktube friends, because how do I know how to buy a new book? When have I ever done that? For 25 years, I worked in a retail bookstore where I was buying new books at a huge discount. All the rest of the time, I get my books for free. And I got a lot of great feedback from a lot of you, and when push came to shove, and I actually had it in a basket at a website and was ready to go, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I emailed the publicist and said, I know I'm awful late, but could I have a copy of this? She said, sure, for you. Absolutely. So I got a copy of it. It's a signature failure on my part. But I read it and was not all that taken with this translation. I wasn't all that happy with it, even though I recognized the bucket loads of scholarship that went into this thing. And I was retailing that, not all of that story, of course, but some of that story to the publicist when she approached me about, or no, I think it was a he. When he approached me about when the publicist approached me about the paperback coming out for the 100th anniversary of Kafka's death, I briefly annotated that I don't know that would be a good idea, because I read it first time and didn't particularly like it. And the publicist said, give it another try. Okay, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, with a wide open mind. Wonderful, glad to have this. So does this paperback have blurbs? This thing did get reviewed. Okay, there's one blurb quoted on the back from the New York Times. Oh yeah, lots of blurbs. Wall Street Journal, The New Yorker, J.M. Cutsey, Cynthia Ozick, lots and lots of people. Okay, great. Great. Okay, well, that's wonderful. This will go on the nightstand, and apart from anything else that I'm reading from front to back, I'll be picking my way through here. I will give it lots and lots of slow attention, and we'll see if that changes things. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, and then we have a great big box. So it's unlikely that this will only be one book, so although we had 3 packages, we are getting more than 3 books. Let's see here. What have we got in this? I shouldn't tell that anecdote about Kafka's diaries, although you already know. All of you already know. At least those of you who've been with this channel for a while, you already know that I'm a pampered Pomeranian. That I'm a book critic, and I have been forever. So I have an audience, both in print and also in online, and also, as a couple of people have pointed out, here. I also have an audience here. So what is in this box? Oh, oh my. Oh my. Okay, let me open this. This is multiple books, but oh my. Oh, goodness gracious. Steve is pleased. Oh. This is a box set. I love box sets, but this is extra beautiful. This is a box set of 3 great novels by Jane Austen. Look at how lovely that is. Oh my. Oh my. I declare, after all, there's no enjoyment like reading. On the top there. Oh. This is Puffin in Bloom. So Emma, Sense and Sensibility, and Pride and Prejudice. How wonderful. Oh, and there's something else in here. What else is in here? What is this? Oh, it's just a piece of wood. Maybe that was for shipping. So this is what the books look like. I don't think there are any peacocks in Pride and Prejudice, but oh, how lovely. Look at that. Just wonderful. Okay. Oh, there's another piece of wood on the other side, too. I guess these were just for wedging these things in here and shipping? Maybe? Surely I'm not supposed to keep these. Surely that means that these things will detach easily from the box now that I get rid of them. I'm not going to keep them. Fantastic. Okay. Well, that was a good mail haul. Definitely. So we have The Web We Weave, A View of the Internet. We have a big military history of the war in Vietnam in the finished copy. Great. We have Kafka's Diaries now in the paperback. This is $22 from Shocker. And we have a gift set of Jane Austen. It's fantastic. Wonderful. All right, I can live with that kind of an email, so that is wonderful. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up. This will be all the more incentive for me to keep doing mail hauls instead of opening stuff off camera. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.